Life comes from the bliss, it sustains in the bliss, and it merges into the bliss. Bliss is ultimate truth, and that truth is called Satyam. And that level of consciousness is called Shivam. As in Gita, it is said that Shivam Shantam Advaitam Chaturtham Manyanti Sa Atma Savigeya. That is Shiva Tattva, which is fourth, which is transcendental level, like sleeping, and waking, sleeping and dreaming. These are three stages, and fourth stage is transcendental stage. Transcendental state, that is beyond all these three stages or states of consciousness. And that is Shiva Tattva, Shiva state, that is transcendental state. And that is ultimate reality. And that is the place of permanent bliss. So life is perfect when it is lived with alliance with that level of consciousness which is running the universe, which is the ultimate truth. Now we should try to understand very carefully that what are the things which must be avoided to protect your life, to live your life, to maintain anybody's life, deviating from this ultimate truth of purity, ultimate reality, and living in alliance with that transcendental reality that is permanent bliss. All those things which deviate the consciousness of a person from these permanent bliss should and must be avoided. Anybody who want to live holistic life should take care of all these negativities, all these weeds which hurt the crop to grow perfectly, all those insects who hurt the crop to grow healthily. Similarly, in everybody's life, there are few things which must be taken care of very carefully. Like a good parent guards their kids from so many negative things, so many evils. Similarly, if one want to live life holistically, completely in alliance with those natural laws or abundance, natural laws of abundance of bliss and happiness and containment, one must take care of the company, what type of company one should live in, what type of company one should permit to live around, what type of consciousness should be around you, which must be avoided and which should be taken care of, and with what type of consciousness should be entertained. That is very, very important. Like my master says, Heyam Dukkham Anagatam. Because if those consciousness, those tendencies, those people who are having these temperament of negativity, of hurting others, of making others unhappy, making others, they have the habit to make others cut short, to make others incomplete. Those who see the consciousness deviating to those dimensions which is not totality, which is not containment. One should and one must take care of all these people who are creator of all these nonsenses. Like, if one want to grow in spirituality, there are two very important things. One, how to grow your consciousness. And number two, how to protect your consciousness from all those negativities. Previously, when people were going to jungles, to forests, in the third stage of their life, like Vanaprastha, Grahastha, and then Brahmacharya, and the first ashram was Brahmacharya ashram. Then second ashram was Grahastha ashram, and third ashram was Vanaprastha, and ultimate was sannyas. So when one was practicing Grahastha, and after Grahastha dharma, everybody went to Vanaprastha. And Vanaprastha means going to forest. Going to forest means what? It literally could mean going to forest, but another means of this is going aloof. Whether you are in the society, whether you are in the family, but your consciousness should withdraw those feelings, those attachments, those connections, so that now you withdraw like a tortoise, withdraws all those. So just after completing your Grahastha life, everybody was made to go for Vanaprastha ashram. And what does that mean? That means that one should go aloof. Aloof means now one should go inwards. One should withdraw from all other things, and all responsibility should be given to the generations. Next generation is going to take care of. Now, the consciousness of a person should go inward, and he should or she should only think of the welfare of society and welfare of his or her own consciousness, elevation of his or her own consciousness. And that is the Vanaprastha. No attachments, no deviations, not permitting any negativity to deviate your consciousness from inward growth, from upward growth, and just think of positivity for society and just elevating your consciousness to the spiritual heights. So, anywhere now, if it is not possible to go to jungles for Vanaprastha ashram, so one should take care of just living in the society in such a way so that your consciousness becomes aloof from all those not good things which can deviate your consciousness. And that could be those tendencies, that could be those persons, that could be those consciousnesses which are not supporting natural laws, those tendencies which are not nourishing. One should take care of it, one should avoid it. That is Heyam Dukkham Anagatam. If these tendencies are permitted to enter in your life, in your consciousness, then because to make one person awake who is sleeping is easy. But the person who is pretending to sleep, you can't wake him up. So the person who is intentional in making things worse and negative and not nourishing and just making things incomplete, one must avoid all those tendencies, because just elevating your consciousness by protecting your consciousness, both things are necessary. Because if one doesn't protect a sapling from, if one doesn't make a tree guard, then how can sapling survive? Because there are so many animals moving around, they can just eat it up. So one has to guard the sapling till it becomes tree. Similarly, one consciousness should be very nicely, very delicately protected, because that is the dvand of sura and asuras. No? So one should take care of maintaining, protecting one's consciousness very delicately, and protecting is first thing, and elevating your consciousness to that ultimate level, it is, of course, another step. So it is very, very necessary. It is very, very necessary, because it is very interesting thing to live in the society, and just like a drop on the lotus leaf, you are in the society, but society shouldn't affect you. All those tendencies shouldn't affect you, and that can only happen when one lives the life very delicately detached with the, like drop of water lives on the lotus leaf. It is very much there, but very much detached. It is like a pearl, it is not wet. It is not, leaf is not wet, and drop is not D-shaped. It is not merged in that leaf. So both are intact. So that is the secret of maintaining consciousness intact, pure, and evolving. So that is very important thing. And because now, if it is not possible to go to jungles and to make yourself aloof physically and mentally and socially, you have to live in that society. You have to live in the family. Now things are changed, values are changed, situations are changed. So one must be on the level of consciousness. One must take care of it, that the consciousness is protected, consciousness is taken care of very, very carefully, so that nothing hurts, nothing deviates, nothing can affect the elevation of consciousness to its fullest level. And that is very necessary for spiritual growth. That's why in spirituality, Sangat Dosh is very carefully taken care of. What type of company one should be with. It's said that Sangat se gun hot hai, Sangat se gun jaye. It tells you that having good company makes you good, and if you don't have that, then it happens otherwise. So that's why it is very necessary for spiritual growth to have a nice company, to good company. And if some company is interested to grow, then you can change. those company. But if somebody is intentional, then you can make a person who is pretending to sleep, you can make him awake. So that's why the best thing is, Heyam Dukkham Managatam, about the danger which is yet to come. Take care of all these companies which can deviate, which can affect, which can hamper the growth of your consciousness. To just have that sense that being in the society, living in the society, one must live like at that stage, third stage of life, that unprocessed state of life, because after that sannyas is the ultimate stage of life. So when a person lives a life taking care of that consciousness, I would say that not in one person only, on every level, right from brahmacharya ashram to grahastha ashram to vanprasth to sannyas, if one takes care of protecting the consciousness, not to get affected and not to permit all these types of consciousness which can hamper the growth of the consciousness, if one takes care of it very, very carefully and very, very alertly, then consciousness can be protected and can be grown to its fullest in the shortest time. And it is very important, it is very important to take care of the company, what type of company you permit around you, so that purity of consciousness, that growth of consciousness is maintained, sustained, and achieved the fullest of it. That is very, very important. That is very important for anybody who wants to attain the ultimate goal of life, that ultimate level of consciousness, who want to become yogastha with that supreme consciousness, that is Shivam Shantam Advaitam Chaturtham Manante Sa Atma Savijaya. Why it is necessary? Because when you are aligned with that consciousness, then Maya Adhyaksha Prakriti Suyate Characharam. Then all those principles, all those values, all those laws of nature, they just yojagadam kamyante. If one's consciousness is awake, one's consciousness is pure, one's consciousness is maintained and sustained and kept in that contained totality, then yojagadam kamyante. All those richas, all those laws of nature, they just desire to become enlivened in that consciousness. So to attain that ultimate reality, which can not only benefit a person's life, but it can become a medium to show light to others, to become lighthouse for society. So to live life to its fullest, that is necessary that is the pure justice to that nature which gives us birth. To keep that consciousness to its fullest, to sustain it to the fullest, so that it is utilized in giving the society the fullest what nature wants. So that is very necessary to live life holistically in perfect alliance with natural laws, to make yourself happy and your surrounding and your society blissfully happy, holistic, contained.